here we're going to create a Fusion 360 model of just portion of the base for a rubber band car. So this is a rubber band car that I designed, sort of a sample. Some of the things we talked about in class in terms of the design are here. Instead of doing it purely rectangular, I decided that maybe it would be a little more interesting and kind of do like a trapezoidal shape here. I have some dimensions, so 3 inches wide, 6 inches, 4.5. I think these will work out. You might need to change it a little bit. We're using 1/4 by 1/4 balsa in order to do this. I have some wheel dimensions, like the distance from the front extremity and the back extremity for the wheel dimensions. So these are 2 inches in the back, 1 inch in the front, but I won't get to the wheels here. I'm using straws as sort of the axle holder. That's a pine dowel for the axle. You can sort of see where the wheels or the axles rest inside the straws and how the whole frame rests on those 2 wheels. And so we're just going to recreate this trapezoid here, and we'll sort of work through it. Now, bear in mind that yours probably will look different than this, and so use some of these techniques in order to sort of put yours together. And so I'm going to start, of course, with a new workspace here. I'm going to start by creating a sketch, and I'm going to use the top view. So what I want to make sure is that I'm using the top plane to create that sketch. And I'm also going to go ahead here and change my units into inches because I feel that I'm more comfortable for this particular design using that. And so what I'm going to do is create sort of this trapezoidal shape. There's a couple different ways you can do this, but the way that I'm going to do it, I think that this is potentially the easiest, is I'm going to just create a rectangle, and then I'm going to fix the rectangle and sort of make it trapezoidal by sort of chopping off 2 bits of the edge here. So it's going to be 4.5 wide by about 6 inches tall, and I am going to use a center rectangle in order to do that. So I'm going to center rectangle this, and I said that this was 6 inches, and I said that this is 4.5. And so this is going to sort of be the extremity of my car. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Now, in a moment, we can go in here and create construction lines or even remove parts of this if we wanted to. But we're not going to do that just yet. And so what I need to do is sort of mark out the 3 inches across the top here. And you could, again, sort of do that in different ways. So if I wanted to, I could simply delete that line right there and then create a line that is on this line that is exactly 3 inches long, just like that. And so I have my 3-inch line. Now the trouble is that I need to make sure that this thing is actually centered. And I can sort of do that a couple different ways. But one of the ways I can do it is just to make sure that this distance from here to here, or from this point to this point, remains exactly sort of that 4.5 minus the 3, right? So that's about 1.5 difference, or 0.75 on each side. And I can actually draw a dimension line in there and do something like that and say that this is 0.75, and it will drag it over. And now the way that I have this, it's not in line with it, but I can easily fix that. And notice you got to be a little careful here because it starts messing things up in your overall rectangle. And so I'm going to get this just right so that stays horizontal, everything stays horizontal, and that's sort of in line there. And this might not be exactly perfect, but it's good enough for what we're doing. So we're going to leave it there. And then I'm going to make my trapezoid. So I'm going to take this corner and bring it up there. I'm going to take this corner and bring it up here. Now my car is starting to take this trapezoidal shape. And what I can actually do is turn some of these things to construction lines. So if I click on that and then I change it to a construction and take this and change it to a construction so it doesn't interfere with any of our work, it doesn't mess up any of our dimensions, but it's all still, good. and we're going to leave it just like this. And then because this is quarter by quarter balsa, the easiest thing to do is use the offset command, and I'm going to offset this inward by 0.25 inches. So that's the thickness of the wood, so I have these sort of concentric trapezoids. And notice how I have these cut that go across here, right? Because these are actually 4 separate sticks. I can zoom in just a little bit, and I can add those lines that go across. Get this just right here, like that. And a little laggy here. Hold on 1 second. Fix that. There's one, and then I can move over and then do the other one. Some of these things are easier if you're zoomed in a little bit, and that's why I went all the way in just like that, so I can bring that right across. There's the other one. Zoom out, get down here, and then go down here and do the same thing. Zoom in a little bit. Bring this right across, just like that. And then I got one more to do. And this is the final one. Just like that. And now, if I zoom out a little bit and pan around, I can actually see these 4 different sticks here, and I could start extruding that. But what I might want to do is I might want to actually put this beam in here for the time being. It's roughly, based on the dimensions that I have here, it's about 1 inch plus about 3 inches, so it's about 4 inches from the bottom of the car. So let's see if I can do that. I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to use the line tool. And I'm just going to put a line sort of arbitrarily across. And line tool arbitrarily across. And it should make it horizontal and coincident. And now what I can do is go ahead and add the dimension to get it just right. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to click on this. And as per my sketch, I have this at about 4 inches is what I have it at. And that looks pretty close, so I think I'm going to leave that there. And then I can go ahead and draw the next line, which is the thickness of that beam. And I got to make sure that that's actually 1/4 of an inch. So in order to do that, I'm now going to specify a dimension right here. And that's 0.25. And it's looking like that's exactly what I need. So I'm going to finish this sketch. You can see all my stuff here. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to save this because I haven't done that yet. So this is really important. You might want to make sure that this is in a project area. So demo project, I'm going to save it in here. And I can sort of orbit around and see this. And I'm going to use the press pull command to extrude this. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to take this. And be aware here that you can't do adjacent ones, otherwise it will join all these into one, which you don't want to do. So I'm going to do ones that aren't touching each other. So I can do these 3 at the same time. All 3 of these come up by a distance of not 25 inches, but 0.25 inches. And I can make sure that's on new body or new component. The sketch turns off, and so I am then going to turn the sketch back on. And I can now do these 2 ones right here. Again, 0.25. And I don't want to join them. I want a new body for the time being, and I'm going to just hit OK. And now, I can turn that sketch back off. Now I have my trapezoidal beginnings of a frame right here. And I can start adding some of these other features. The last thing that you want to do, you definitely want to save it one more time. So it's going to be another version. And you also probably want to share this out. So in order to submit this assignment, you got to go to share. You're going to share the public link for the time being. When you click on this, you click this on, and then you can copy the link and then paste that into your assignment. And so that's the very beginning of a basic frame for a rubber band car.